The Apostle Paul arrived in Ephesus by boat, but we went by air after going on a one-day adventure in Ankara. Flying was relatively easy. We went on Pegasus Airlines, which local airlines are pretty cheap in Turkey.
Okay, we just got off the bus from the airport, from the plane, and now we are looking for an exit and trying to figure out how we're going to get to our hotel, which I'm thinking taxi is the best way right now.
We found a taxi and we're on our way to Izmir to our hotel, and we thought it was interesting how the traffic lights, the entire pole lit up to let you know that it was green, yellow, or red.
When it goes from red to green,
It goes yellow.
it goes yellow too. You know,
Yeah.
yellow is in between green and red, but it's also in between red and green.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, the yellow is in between both changes. Very interesting. We're looking at a big rock figure of Ataturk. Wow, that's a big... Very good.
Izmir is a very modern town with a lot of nightlife. Luckily, our hotel was in the right place and that it was centrally located so that we could go pretty much anywhere in the downtown area that we wanted to.
At the hotel Olimpiyat, room 105. It's made for 4 people, but we're only 3 people.
Made for 5.
Standard decent toilet, no elevator, closed door and everything. It's good. I think we're good to go here, Denise.
I think we're good to go.
It's been a long adventure.
One of the things that I enjoyed the most about the Hotel Olimpiyat was the breakfast. It was very generous. It was a traditional Turkish breakfast with lots of different things to eat. And also their hotel was very central. You could go to lots of places. There was plenty of what I would call Turkish fast food places around to eat. There are direct trains that go to Ephesus from Izmir, but unfortunately they were not in service when we were there. So we had to take a series of several local trains to get where we wanted to go.
We are down in the metro now. It looks a lot like the LA metro at the Basil station, and we think we're going 1 station from here to Hilal. Far in an adventure. We are on a tramway here, which is we're not sure if it's the right train or not. The train we were supposed to take from Basamigar was closed because of COVID-19. And then we've taken a series of weird stops, and now we're on this train that's supposedly going to Kumavasi, which is not quite where we need to be. So we're getting closer to our destination, but not exactly there. Okay, with the help of the security guard, we are on another line number 11. And we're hoping that this continues our journey out to Selçuk, I should say. Denise is just on her phone. Just wanted to show you a little bit of the countryside here. Our train's stopping and starting, but it's a very beautiful countryside. Lots of fields, bordered by different nut trees. I think they are walnut trees and pistachios. Been 3 hours, and now we're in Selçuk, and we're gonna try to find our way to find a bus to go to Ephesus. We are close to the train station now, and there's lots of places to eat. Not a lot of people eating, but there's a lot of eating places here. Ephesus Dolmas, and we're just waiting for it to fill up. Denise and AJ got like the broken seats.
I'm fine.
Okay, AJ's fine, he says. And hopefully this will take us out to where we need to go. I've arrived to the ancient site of Ephesus, and we are going to go to the top of Acts. John arrived here first in Ephesus and founded the town of Ephesus. He converted many to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And then several decades later, the Apostle Paul came here, and he found a few of those disciples who were followers of Christ, and he asked, "Who are you?" And they said, "We are the disciples of Christ." And he said, "That's great. Well, I'm here to teach you about the Holy Ghost." And they said, "Oh, we don't know who the Holy Ghost is." And so the Apostle Paul knew that he had a problem. This map shows what the town of Ephesus would have been like when Paul first arrived. As you can see here on the map, it was first a coastal town, and the water would get to here. And so where we're standing right now would be the water. And then it would be built up to the hills. So that's what it looked like back then. Today, because of global warming and silt from the river, there is no more coastline. In the times of Apostle Paul, every Roman citizen had a right to speak. If you were a free man, you could speak in the stadium. Paul gave his great speech denouncing Artemis, Diana, the goddess, and of course he was yelled at, and so he was not able to complete his speech, and so he ended up having to write out his speech, which he did so in the letters to the Ephesians. Up on the Great Library of Ephesus here, in its day the Great Library contained all the world knowledge. Everything that was known about the world, at least this part of the world, was here in the Library of Ephesus. He has to get their Instagram shots, huh? That's what's going on here. Everybody's doing their Instagram shots.
This was known as the Herculean Gate. At this point, you had to get off your horse if you had one and walk.
Here in the Ion,
This smaller amphitheater was used for government functions, for voting on measures, for city measures and laws.
Of Ephesus, and we're going to do the Rick Steves audio tour now. So this is how the ancient Romans went to the bathroom. Here, 20 at a time could go. No toilet paper. You just heard one stick. That's how it worked. We're now in the terraced houses, and you can see the floors. Part of it would have been covered, as you can see, with terraces, and part of it would be open air. And the walls, and you can see some of the frescoes still on the walls.
The terraced houses is a separate admission inside of the Ephesus archaeological site. The terraced houses are actually 5 houses that would have been owned by the noble people. There's plenty of frescoes and many different things to see within the houses.
It's amazing how this all withstood time. It's like one giant jigsaw puzzle, AJ. They have to put it all together, piece by piece by piece. That's like the craziest puzzle in history.
Be warned that at the terraced houses, there's a lot of steps that you're going to have to climb up and down.
Some people wrote their
Grocery items did they write on the walls, AJ?
Let's see.
What did they need?
Basil?
Uh-huh. What else?
Malt figs.
Uh-huh.
Barley.
Uh-huh.
Don't know. Wood.
Uh-huh.
Onions. And caraway.
What do you think they were making?
Soup.
Soup. Okay, it's what's for dinner. Soup. Fancy walls. Faces on the walls. It's like a church almost. A lot of stair climbing here. Although the views here This is probably the best preserved house so far.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah. Those were some cool frescoes. And look at the lion on there. See the lion up there?
Just be glad that the British Empire didn't get. We got some Byzantine stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was outside the city walls.
Oh, yeah?
So it doesn't destroy the whole town.
Well, that makes sense. This would have been where the commoners lived, on the sides of the hills. You can see the piping that went through the apartment building and how they decorated over it. Every room was decorated. Up here, we're at the highest point you can get a commanding view. You can see even on the roofs there was designs. Designs and so many decorations. We are high up. I hope this glass holds us up, AJ.
It's probably gonna break on your end.
Probably. I wouldn't get too close to me.
Wow.
All the designs. Each house just had a different design. This would have been like a courtyard for several houses. Here in the library of Ephesus, they had these niches where they would store the rolls of scrolls. But as Ephesus grew and became one of the major libraries of the world, Egypt did not want to be outdone. So what they did is Egypt refused to sell any paper to Ephesus, so they ended up writing on lambskin scrolls and bounded them together and created what is the book. And so in these drawers right here is they stored the first books ever and continued being the largest library in all the known world. We are here at the ancient theater. It could house about 3,000 people. We are here at the stadium where Paul preached against the Ephesians and their worshipping of idols, specifically Artemis, which in the Bible is known as Diana, and they tried to kill him, but he was luckily able to escape and preach for another day. And then he went to Rome, and then he died. And this is what was left of the Temple of Artemis.
And 1.5 columns.
In its day, it was known for more than 100 columns. Beautiful columns that stretch together. And now there's one.
Count them. 1.5.
1.5 left. That's all that's left. But beautiful view of the castle here. This is what Paul wanted to have destroyed, and it ultimately was destroyed. Well, this video is getting kind of long, and I better cut it off. So this will be part 1 of our Ephesus tour. And stay tuned for another exciting adventure, which will be Selçuk, which is another part of the gateway into the ancient world.